No rights or wrongs, no shoulds, just learn to be. No more wasting time chasing something meant to be free. Resistance to life prevents your truth from being told. Stop writing someone else's story. It's time to let go.
Life is not linear. It's a magnificent dance that invites us to be more than we can imagine. But that doesn't mean growing is easy. I'm George Kalantzis, and welcome to Tough Transitions. In this podcast, I'll share stories from my own life and the stories of others so you can fully accept yourself and rewrite the way you see the world, to stop holding yourself back from your best self and your extreme power. This is your path. Your life is unfolding exactly the way it was intended. Learn how to connect your heart, listen to your voice, and free yourself from limitations and expectations so you can claim your true, unlimited potential.
Back in the studio for another Friday Flow, and today I was writing on this concept of learning to let go and grow. The title, The Biggest Lie That Limits Our Potential and How to Stop It. Well, I was reflecting on this memory. 20 years ago, I stepped foot on Parris Island. It's the place where you become a United States Marine on the East Coast. Actually, it's more than 20 years ago now. And it's interesting because I thought I'd retire from the United States Marines. 20 years of service. No big deal, right? I pictured myself as the Marine who traveled the world, deployed to combat zones, and acted like the badass you see in the movies. And I got to do some of it. But mostly, my decade as a Marine consisted of death, addictions, and valuable life lessons that forced me to hang up my uniform after 10 years of honorable service. And so in 2011, when I left the Marines, I wasn't headed to some exotic location like I wanted to. I wasn't surrounded by fellow Marines. I was on my way back home, a place I knew I'd never survive. I wrote this in my journal this morning, and what you just heard was a little snippet from my book, Nowhere to Go. But I said in my journal, as I started to flow, if I am not him, then who is he? And it's interesting because our identities in life are attached by people, places, outcomes, and everything that makes us who we are. We all have stories written by outside forces in our lives. Our harsh inner critic depicts how the story goes. Identity is wrapped up in the pain of our fathers and mothers, closed off hearts from broken stories of love. Camouflaged personalities are hidden behind high performance. However, we walk through life. I think that rarely do we ever give ourselves a chance to become the author of our story. If you've been following me now for a little bit, you know that last year I went on severance. I went to a vision fast, and it's been almost a year since I entered that severance phase. And the biggest lesson I have learned is this concept of surrender. Because I think that the biggest lie we tell ourselves is that we must continue down paths that hurt our bodies, minds, souls, and hearts, as if it was the only way. And so surrendering is a new way of living for me. And I'm still trying to let the lessons sit with my heart. After, a little over 2 decades of struggling with depression and suicidal ideations, the idea of slowing down makes me think I might not never wake up again. Depression, it's a story I've lived on for much of my life. But severance, it has questioned my motives and values. It showed me that there was more to this life than I originally planned. So as I sit here today and speak to you, and as I wrote in my journal, I can now see that if I continue to attach my happiness and worth to external outcomes, there's going to be parts of me that will always feel dead inside. These Friday flows, the podcast, and everything else I do allow me to see how my illusion of success has been like a puppet on a series of strings of identities, being pushed and pulled around life as my self-worth played the cost. And I have learned some hard lessons. I've spent my entire life on different acts of stages while my actions, thoughts, and emotions were controlled by validation. In complete denial, of course, I repeated patterns that kept me alive, even though I was dead inside. And so going through the vision fast, writing, and everything else I do, it allows me to see that my life was a direct reflection of those beliefs that I thought to be true about myself. And since I'm human like you and everyone else, I still have my doubts. But I am learning that life is so much better when I choose to become the author of my story and not let the past dictate my future. I think we all lose ourselves at some point along our journeys. We betray our health, relationships, and even ourselves. Somehow, we think more is better. Instant gratification at the touch of our fingertips. Hearts, likes, comments, and clicks. There really is no destination because everyone is lost. But when we take the concept of success too far, we see that our identities write a never-ending story of not feeling enough. These subconscious stories, written by our fathers and mothers, leave us to bypass what we feel underneath it all for a chance of something more. Success, happiness, love, everything else. But what if we could stop living through our parents? We might see that we have the power to write another story. One better even. To be true to ourselves, we must dig deeper to see what our deepest driving desire is behind who we are in the moment and who we are choosing to become. If we open up our hearts and feel while surrendering to what life offers, we can survive dark days and find meaning through it all. And maybe we won't. But rather than focus on answers and outcomes, I think when you let life unfold as is, you can find questions like, who am I? What am I afraid of? Why am I doing this? What do I desire? What do I need to become? Who do I need to become? Who do I need to let go of? What do I need to let go of? And these questions allow us to acknowledge our past, accept it even, and listen ever so intently to what life is trying to show us. By being here right now, it's a gift. I am seeing this as my dad slowly withers away. I am seeing this as I surround myself with people who care and try to lift me up while I support them and they support me. Life is a threshold after threshold. And as you can recognize that many of your challenges you face are really shadows of yourself, you'll see that there is potential waiting for you within. Your story is going to continually demand a lot out of you. But if you continue to walk through life based upon what happened to you, you'll forever feel lost, as if you're writing someone else's story. Today, I am confident that I get to be the author of my own life. And to do that, I have to find a quiet place to surrender and listen to what my heart is trying to tell me. I have to detach from outcomes. I have to get away to the mountains. This saves me from writing the story of pain or chasing something that was never mine in the first place. It also prevents me from acting out on my daughter or closing my heart out to anyone else. So, the takeaway for you today. Suppose that the biggest lie you tell yourself is that you have to continue down roads of pain, that you have to be addicted to chaos. The opposite story, then, is one of liberation. No rights or wrongs, no shoulds, just be. No more wasting time chasing something meant to be free. Resistance in life prevents your truth from being told. Stop writing someone else's story. Just let go. No one knows your story. That's what makes you unique. Every life is a precious gift, written by the beat of your heart, crafted by the stones of time. And I can assure you this, you're never alone. No matter what happens, trust your heart. It is your home. Hey, thanks for tuning into the Friday Flows. It means the world to me. This is how I got started writing. This is how I got started in the podcasting. And this is how I've been here today, by just trusting my heart and showing up as authentically as possible. So wherever you are, thanks again for listening to this. If you could do me one massive favor, leave a review. It would mean the world to me. And have an amazing weekend. Talk soon.
Did you just like what you heard? Then make sure to check out my book, Nowhere to Go, Navigating Tough Transitions. It's available everywhere books are sold. You can also now get it from me for $1 digitally at theartoftoughTransitions.com, where you have an option to upgrade to a 5-day masterclass to really help you break free of the limitations and expectations of the world so you can tap into your true potential. Because what are you waiting for? Life is this magnificent dance that invites you to be more than you could ever imagine, but only if you give yourself permission to be open to the many tunes in front of you right now. Thanks for listening. Share it, review it, and I'll see you around soon.